grab your big book, your pen, your highlighter, and notepad and get ready to hear and apply some of the solution from the Big Book of Alcoholics Anonymous through the experience, strength, and hope of Nikki M. To have a question addressed in a future episode of Noodle It Out with Nikki, please send an email to noodlewithnikki@gmail.com, and Nikki is spelled with 2 Ks. To get a more interactive experience with Nikki as she noodles out life and recovery questions using the Big Book of Alcoholics Anonymous, you can get a link to her weekly Noodle It Out with Nikki meeting held live on Zoom every Monday morning at 9 o'clock Eastern Time. The information to that meeting is in the show notes of this podcast. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to all. My name is Justin B., and I'm a son of an all-powerful and perfectly loving God and a qualifying addict, and I'm grateful to be living in the miracle of recovery one day at a time. I'm here with the intelligent agent, my sister and spearhead of God's ever-advancing creation, and my co-host, Nikki M. Nikki, please take a second, say hi, introduce yourself.
Hi, everyone. I'm Nikki M, and I'm a grateful member, and that's what my book asks me to identify as a member. And I love what Justin just said, that I'm his sister, and he's my brother, and this is my chosen family, the Rico 12 family, the Noodle family, the Big Book sponsorship family, all recovery families. This is my chosen place, my chosen home where I feel safest. And I'm just grateful that God's using myself and Justin today to share a message of hope with our chosen family. Thank you, Justin.
Thank you, Nikki, and I'm happy to be here with you. And we try to get together at least, once a week and record these things. And, the last couple of weeks have been a little bit off. Our scheduling has not worked because of, my busyness, the things that have happened in my life recently. And just out there for listening, if you have any interest in this, I am now a grandfather for the second time. We had a granddaughter born a couple of weeks ago, and it has been amazing. Just grateful to have to see the growth of family and hopefully of recovery as we move forward down these paths. All right. So this is the Noodle It Out with Nikki podcast. What we do here is we bring questions from you, our listening audience, from those people that we interact with, whether they be sponsees or others that are in the Noodle It Out with Nikki chat or in the other weekly meeting that Nikki does every Monday morning. And bring these questions to the Big Book, and Nikki noodles through that Big Book, giving us solutions, and we share some experience, strength, and hope. So if you have a question, send it along to us at noodlewithnikki@gmail.com. Nikki is with 2 Ks. And in the meantime, grab your Big Book. Get ready to run around, make some notes, and apply the solution into your life. Today, Nikki, we have a question that comes from Teddy. And Teddy says, I want to know what is discipline from the Big Book perspective. What does it mean to be disciplined? Nikki, what does the book say?
Well, this is a great question, because this is where I'm finding, Justin, a lot of people, and I just love that we have a grandbaby. I say we. If you're listening, daughter, son, you're too young, but daughter, I need a baby, okay? We can't just rely on Justin's family. I love this because we're all celebrating in this joy. And I'm going to say why, because Justin is disciplined. Justin takes this lifestyle serious. He's consistent. So page 88 of our Big Book. Everybody, we use the Big Book of Alcoholics Anonymous for every addiction and affliction. I don't care what is your issue, what your problem, or what you think your drug of non-choice is. We suffer from the disease of self. And so we're driven, says our book. So number 1, page 18, I'm armed with the facts about myself. And if I'm armed with the facts about myself, I know, because I've done a searching and fearless moral inventory, that I'm lazy. I'm undisciplined. For some of you that don't have a Big Book out there, maybe you have your Bible, your Quran, your Torah, your yoga mat. Let's go deep. You are inconsistent. You are not doing the do's every day. Okay? Because this is what this is about. Page 88 and we use the Big Book, and we use it for all addictions, because our book says what drives us is not motivation. Oh, back to what I was going to say in those other books. The word is sloth. You're a sloth. You're 7 deadly sins. If you're wondering, well, what does the searching and fearless moral inventory mean, Nikki? It means you look at yourself and you see what defective characters, what belief systems, what old behaviors and patterns, repeat behaviors and patterns are blocking you. Blocking you from what? From the great reality that lives inside of you. Page 55 says our book, The Great Reality. So you have to live in reality. And the reality of it is that if you are in a 12-step program, you are undisciplined. That's just a fact. You're lazy. You're a sloth. Why can I say that? Because Justin will talk and we'll say, let's speak from I statements. So let me speak from an I statement, and I'm going to throw Justin in here too. I am a sloth. I am undisciplined. And I see Justin smiling because he can be that way too. This is about consistency. Yes, Justin had a new baby, a grandbaby, and everything gets put on pause for this. But we meet consistently every Monday after the Noodle meeting. And when things pop up, that's okay because we've been consistent and disciplined. We have extra episodes. Imagine if we weren't disciplined and consistent and we missed a week because an emergency happened, a baby, a death, or, COVID happens, no internet, go deep. What are you going to do? You have to be consistent and disciplined. And it says in our book on page 84, this is not an overnight matter. So what does this mean to be consistent and disciplined? Teddy wants to know. It means that you accept this way of life. See, you're armed with the facts. We already said that. Page 18, you're armed with the facts. This lifestyle, because no other lifestyle worked for you, Teddy. That's why you're here, because you see that you're beyond any human aid, your church, your synagogue, your exercise every day, your discipline at work, getting up, having your coffee, living that robotic matrix program life. It didn't work for you because you can be as consistent with the workaholism. You can be as consistent with controlling your food intake. But if you are not disciplined in your thought life, all of that will go out the window. See, this is all about your thought life, being disciplined in your thinking. Page 87, let's go here, Justin, because here's the promise you want to get to. And then I kind of want to hear about, you've been here a while. And I'll be honest, I watch you, I know you. It's like, I know a week ahead of time if I'm not going to make it to our recording because I'm living so disciplined. And sometimes Justin, and we can be honest with each other because we're brother, sister, Justin will tell me the night before. Now, I don't care because it gives me an extra hour in the morning to free up time, and I can fill that because I'm very disciplined, so I can do some things. But imagine if I wasn't so disciplined and now I'm sitting here with an hour of my time, thoughts start to creep in on me. So let me go to page 87. Because this is the ultimate promise. And so where do you get off track? Because at the top of page 87, I have written practice and patience. Because Teddy wants to know, what does it mean to be disciplined? Well, you have to practice. That's page 60 also. We practice these principles in all our affairs. And patience, page 118, be patient. So this is the promise. It's here. What used to be the hunch or the occasional inspiration. Okay, I need to be disciplined. I need to be consistent. That's a hunch. You kind of know it. You've been in the rooms for maybe 10 days. How about a decade, 10 years? And now it's gradually. See, this is a gradual process. This does not happen overnight. Becomes a working part of your mind. My line out says it's second nature. So now this is my second nature to be overly consistent and disciplined. Now, I can be rigid when that happens too. I have to remember this is a whole dance that we do because it says we're not a glum lot. So if a newcomer could see no laughter, page 132. So when things don't go my way and things aren't disciplined and I'm not in my militant lifestyle, do I cry and lose my mind or do I laugh and go, I'm not, it's okay, Nikki. It's like, it's not, this life isn't a veil of tears anymore. Why don't you just go and have a tea? Why don't you get in your hot tub? Why don't you take a walk? Why don't you go across the street and practice for your harp lessons at your harp teacher's house? Like, you understand, this is radical. Justin, what stops you from being disciplined? Because you've been here a while.
Yeah, my biggest things are the character defects of, and they go into sloth, but avoidance, procrastination, lack of taking responsibility for things, and that's what does it for me. I think, well, I can do that later, or you know what, this thing that just came up now, I can address that tomorrow or the day after tomorrow. I don't need to take time right now and do that. And sometimes that is the case, but often, what am I? If I'm not doing anything at the moment, I may as well just do it right now. And I'm going to share an example of something that's done this. I sometimes I'll have a work responsibility that is not important that I can put off and put off and put off and put off because the deadline isn't for a couple of months from now. And then the deadline hits and I'm running around like a chicken with my head cut off because I didn't address it when I could. And there have been times when I've gotten so stressed about this thing that I've put off for so long. And then when I finally get to doing it, it takes 10 or 15 minutes. And I've just spent months or weeks of stress, of avoidance, of going, oh, I really don't want to do that right now, to avoid 10 or 15 minutes of work. And it's just stupid. But that's the thing that takes me out when it comes to discipline most often. Do you have any advice, or what does the book say about that, Nikki?
Well, it says on page 118, Justin, let's go there. And I've taken you here for issues with, family and wife, because it says the little things. Page 118 very much says, and that's what I heard. It says, you, Justin, will find that you can dispose of serious problems. I've lost my job, Nikki. I need a new career. My children have moved across the country. I need to cancel today's appointment because we're having a new family member that's arriving early in our family. Those are big problems. But it says you can dispose of those serious things easier than you can trivial ones. That my line out says, little stuff eats at my soul. And that's what you told me. It's the little things. See, okay, go deeper, everybody. I want to write a book, right? Well, what if I wrote one page every day? By the end of 365 days, I would have a book. But I'm not writing one page at all. I'm avoiding it. I'd rather scroll my life away. You see? So that's what it is. It's like page 25, Justin. Okay, so everybody, we're all Justin and we're all Teddy right now. What are you blotting out your consciousness with? I know I'm blotting mine out with scrolling. I just know that. Where I could be writing my book. I could be doing, Justin, you and I were talking about, I was going to record the workbook for YouTube. You sent me a link that was dedicated for that. I still have yet to use the link. You see what I mean? So ask yourself every day, what are you blotting out your consciousness with? That's page 25. Because now you're not blotting it out with the big things anymore. Drugs, porn, food. It's the little things that you're doing it with. The little obsessions. The fact that it would take you 5 minutes to vacuum, but you'll leave it all week. It's the little things. If you do it every day. I like a little thing. I do my dishes before I even eat. So all I have to do is wash my dinner dish. Like I clean up the kitchen before I eat. Like it's the little things that I have to do. So I also heard in there, page 75, this is what I want to suggest to you and Teddy. Because what if I told you there is no tomorrow? Like, do you have your will written out? Do you have all your T's crossed, your I's dotted? I do. But page 75 says this. We are engaged upon a life and death errand. Like, Nikki, that's for a fifth step. Well, you do a fifth step every day. You do a fourth step every day. You do a searching, fearless, moral inventory. You have to admit you're powerless every day. You have to believe in this power every day. You have to make a decision to be a member and a sincere position to perform this work well. Perfectionists out there. Oh, if I'm not going to do it perfect, I'm not going to do it at all. See, that's a lie. So how do you be disciplined? Number one, you must believe your book. It says you're not a saint. It says you will make mistakes. It says, page 420, we never just sit and do nothing while waiting for the power to tell us what to do. So if you're sitting there waiting for God to tell you what to do, then you're going to have a very long, miserable life. Why? Because we have to take action. There's a whole chapter called Into Action. So how do you be disciplined, asked Teddy? You go into action. You do pages basically 84 to 88 every day until you die. How do you be disciplined? Upon awakening. How do you be disciplined? When we retire at night. How do you be disciplined? We pause when agitated. How do you be disciplined? Must not drift off. How do you be disciplined? These thoughts. Now, these are all instructions just on those few pages between 84 and 88. How do you be disciplined every day? You ask God to divorce you from self-pity every day. How do you be disciplined? You try this for a while. That means forever. Like, I don't think people take the black ink on the white pages in the blue book seriously. They just come here and they think it's a self-help group. They think that, oh, I just need to get off alcohol and drugs, and that, I'll just get on Ozempic rather than be disciplined for my food. I'll just go get and I'm not knocking these things. If this is how it works for you, that's fine. But we are in a 12-step program, Justin, and it says destruction of self, Teddy. So that's how you get disciplined. You destruct yourself. Your life is no longer your life. And then what happens? I think it's on page 64. It's in the 4th step where it says you put pen to paper. And I do this with my children, Justin, so I'm going to do it with my brother, Justin. The deadline is, let's have a deadline of January 31st, 2026. Justin, your deadline is December 31st, 2025. Like, I play these mental games because I used to play a lot of games like, let me hide your husband in my bed. Let me hide that all-you-can-eat buffet under my skirt. Like, I get real weird. And so let's go deeper. Let's play some games like, let's put some radical time limits and timelines on my duties as a husband, as a wife, as a parent, as a coworker. Like, get disciplined. This is how I discipline a lot of my sponsors. You want some suggestions? You do not show up at 8:00 for your 8:00 meeting. You show up at 7:45 with your coffee in your hand. If you wear a uniform, Nikki, like you did to work for over 2 decades, you will put your uniform on. You don't just pull into work at 8:00 and then go down in your change room and take forever and send some texts and gets on the floor at 8:20. You are on the floor, ready to start your work soldier at 7:45 for your 8 a.m. call. Does this make sense, Justin?
It does. It does. And for the undisciplined, and for example, for the clock thing, man, I am pretty darn disciplined in almost every aspect of my life with the clock, and being there on time or early is how I roll. But for the undisciplined in that, that sounds like, what am I in, Nikki? Am I going to boot camp? Am I going to basic training here and I have to be in the military? Well, I'm a rebel and I'm not going to do that. Talk to me a little bit about that.
Yeah, well, let me know how that works out for you.
Yeah.
Like, I love that. I love when we do, everybody, Justin and I love role play of all kinds, but this is the favorite one of us, some pushback. Well, Nikki, what is this? Is this, oh, Nikki, this sounds like a cult. I've heard this one before, Justin.
Yep.
And it's like, yeah, this is a cult. It is a cult of love. Unconditional love. It's a cult of radical response. Now, go deep with the responsibility. I'm not responsible for your wife. I'm not responsible for my grown son. I'm responsible for Nikki M. So if Nikki M wants to do this, Nikki M has to live this lifestyle. So you don't want, and then I go deeper. Well, like it's too militant for you and too disciplined. And how's that old lifestyle working for you? Because you told me that you were at the jumping off place on page 152, that you can't live life with or without it. You don't know what to do. You also told me that you refuse to see this way of life. And in Bill's story, it says on page 16 that one poor chap committed suicide. Why? Because just like that pushback, he refused to see this way of life. So if you're like me, now see, some of you aren't like me. Some of you can go to therapy and that will work for you. Some of you can go to the retreat. Justin, I did one in Bellingham, Washington. I think it was 25 years ago. And I paid the money and I was, sleep deprived and the men are this side and the women. It was one of these pump weekends that you do. And well, I was good for 3 days. And then I came home and I forgot everything I learned. And so that's why this lifestyle, and I say it, and we'll go to page 30, Teddy, because I know you have a big book. And page 30 says, many pursue it. Pursue what? Pursue the insanity that they're like other people. They don't need to be disciplined. They can just go, you know what? That report doesn't need to be done for another 6 weeks. No, that report, put it in your mind, because I know you put it in your mind, Justin, about the time. So put it on for these things. Put it on for reports that are due. A lot of people will say, a lawyer friend of mine, we were on the parent council together, and we would always laugh because she didn't have a will written out. She's a lawyer with a big house and a big husband. And we knew each other because we had big kids. Well, they were small at the time. And she did not have a will. Now, we made a commitment at the Christmas party a couple of years ago. I said, next Christmas party, you're going to have a will written out. And I'm going to finalize mine. I'm going to get mine updated. I already had one, but I updated it. Paid the $2,500 because I wanted it done right. I got money involved. I've got kids, Justin. I want to make sure, I don't want to, if I drop, my son's only 21, you got to put concessions in, all these trust things. And I wanted it done right, not just scribbled on a napkin. And I sleep like a baby because of it. You see what I mean? Like, I could die. And I watch a lot of NDE, near-death experiences. And Justin, all the people who have near-death experiences, if you guys ever watch them, they're enlightening, I'll tell you. No one wants to come back. No one. Even for the new grandbaby, they're not going, I got a new grandbaby, bring me back. They're like, the feeling of unconditional love, of that light, of that peace, of that pleasure, of that perfect peace and ease alone, they all describe. I've never heard them not describe it. So, I guess what I want to say about being disciplined, Justin, is that this is a lifestyle. And that's how you do this, Teddy, because the question was, what does it mean, like according to the big book? What does it mean to be, capital B-E, disciplined? If you're in a 12-step lifestyle, it means this, and I'm going to run through it. Every day you're going to wake up and know that you have to help others and you're included in others. If you can't help yourself, then you're not going to be able to help anybody. Every day you've got to smash the idea that you're like other people on the planet. You're laser designed by the creator of the universe. Okay, go deep with people, you guys, to be disciplined. You know that you cannot do this life without help. A we program, and you're beyond. You know that running back to therapy, doing another weekend retreat, having another baby, getting a new house, getting the new trainer is not discipline. That's just temporary Band-Aids. You know that it all centers in your mind, and that if you don't have discipline in your thought life, see, first thought, I can't. Second thought, God will. First thought, this life is awful. Second thought, God has big plans when I place my life in his hands. Big plans. This is all big book speak. Every day I've got to stop doing the things I want to do and start doing the things I don't want to do. Like do the report even though it's not due. Like get the tires, snow tires on, everybody. We live in Canada. The snow falls and people forget how to drive. It's like you knew winter was coming. Why didn't you put your snow tires on December 1st? Why are you waiting till the snow falls? Like these are the things. Why are we not doing this? Nikki, you know you're going to be in menopause. Yes, I did all the things to prepare for it. You see, Justin, like these are the things that we're talking about. You know a baby's coming. Did you arm your boss with the facts that you may need to pick up and just go? Because we don't have timings for babies. Like these are all the things we do. So we don't forget why we need to be disciplined because, and this is why, Justin, this is the why. Because my book says there's certain trials and low spots ahead. So I had been so disciplined when COVID hit that when I lost my job, when Nikki M lost every single right, I was banned from going even to hospitals. I remembered. I was so disciplined. I remembered who I am. Does that make sense, Justin? Because I can't, if I take a day off, and then I take another day off, I've drifted too far out because why? This is powerful, cunning. What does it say? It's cunning, baffling, and all powerful, this disease of alcoholism. Without help, it's too much.
Yeah. Nikki, this is good for me. I need this reminder regularly. And I've said this many times before, I've been blessed to be a slow learner, and to counteract it, I'm a fast forgetter. So it's a good thing to have these things reminded. One thing I do want to touch on is on the top of page 88. I just wanted to read through this. A fruit of being disciplined is, I think, this. It says, we humbly say to ourselves many times each day, thy will be done, meaning we're talking to God, praying, God, thy will be done. We are then in much less danger of excitement, fear, anger, worry, self-pity, or foolish decisions. I think those are some things, some promises that if I am disciplined, if I am allowing myself to be disciplined by God, that those things don't come up and trip us up too much. We become much more efficient. We don't tire so easily. Because we're not burning up energy foolishly like we did when we were trying to arrange life to suit ourselves. It works. It really does. And I think that's how we can close this out is as you strive to, as you allow yourself to be disciplined, these fruits will appear and life will become much more serene. Serenity will invade your life like an amazing thing. Anyways, thank you, Nikki. Thank you, listeners. If you are feeling the nudge to support the RICO 12 program, check out the links in the show notes of this podcast. Come throw us $1 or $100 or $1,000, whatever what your higher power provides to do that. We'll be happy to put that to good use. Keep coming back. It works when I work it. So work it. You are worth it.